Hi Year 4, welcome to the design and technology aspect of your home learning. In this video, I'm going to show you how you are going to be making your light boxes. So you are going to be given a design brief, which I have in front of me, but it is also going to be on the home learning page along with a list of resources that you need in order to complete this project. So for your design brief, you're going to be making a light box, and you have been tasked with the project of designing and building a light box that can be placed on the reception desk at the hotel. So when I say hotel, the Nothing to See Here hotel. So you need to make sure that your design stands out, makes guests feel welcome, and it's eye-catching as well. So let's have a little look at what light boxes are and how we can maybe make ours or yours eye-catching. So light boxes are often used when making signs. It makes the lettering stand out and it makes people more likely to have a look at something if it is lit up. So here we have got some hotel signs. Both of these hotel signs that my mouse is pointing at, they use neon lighting. So the actual letters are lit up in lights, and also there's some use of bulbs here as well. This hotel sign looks very old, doesn't it? It looks as if they've got individual bulbs on the lettering, but unfortunately it looks as if they don't work anymore. And then here we have got some traditional box lighting, so what we are going to be doing today. So I presume underneath you can see it's lit up here, and at night Kensington Court Hotel is probably all in bright white lettering. Because it's daylight, might not be able to see it as well. Here are some signs similar to the ones that we are going to be making. So here you've actually got one that says reception, and this one here, the lettering really pops out, doesn't it, because the back is just so bright. And then up here you've got the same, and it's in different fonts, different colours, which hopefully we will see from some of your creations. So you can see how all of these signs are really eye-catching, and they give you an idea of how you can make yours eye-catching. So you can use different fonts, you could potentially use different colours, you might even have a different coloured light source for your light box as well. So essentially what they are is there's lights behind that help make lettering stand out. So I'm going to show you how you're going to be making yours today and what you're going to be using as well. So we are going to be using bits and bobs that you can find around the house. We would have been doing this in school, in which we would have had some of our resources with us. But we are improvising, obviously, because of everyone being at home. And I was actually able to find quite a lot of the things I needed just in my house, and I'm hoping you'll be able to as well. So what you need, this is mine here, by the way, my finished project. So you'll need one box, so this could be a shoe box, or it might be a box that the adults in your home have ordered something maybe, and it might be a cardboard box that you're going to recycle. So maybe ask an adult if you aren't too sure where you might be able to find a box. Some greaseproof paper or baking parchment, as it's also known, which can be found in your kitchen, particularly if the people in your house like to bake. But it is quite cheap and easy to buy at the supermarkets. But it really helps the light shine through. It's not like plain paper. It's really easy for the light to shine through. Quite like the paper we use when we're doing tracing. Some black card and some coloured card. If you only have black, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it, because I'm sure you can still make your sign fairly eye-catching with your word choice or the way you decide to cut the letters out. But if you've got coloured card, that's great as well, because you can make your sign stand out and make it look really colourful. So you need glue as well, so either PVA or a glue stick. I used PVA, but I do think a glue stick would probably work better. And then one light source. I've used a camping light, but if you've got fairy lights, or the adults in your house might have a torch or something, anything that you can use to shine on those letters and make them look really bright. So one light source is what you will need as well. Before I get going, you're going to need to design your light box, so have an idea of what you want to do first before you start chopping and cutting, because then you've got a clear idea of what you need to do. So you need to think about what message you will include on your sign. So how are you going to welcome the guests? Or are you going to welcome them with a picture? I have said welcome guests on mine, so I've gone quite traditional. But you might want to wish them a happy holiday, welcome to Brighton, welcome to the Nothing to See Here Hotel. I'm sure you can think of lots of creative things that you can include. Think about the light source. As I said before, ask someone in your home if you're not too sure what would be best to use. And think about what colours you might include if you do have coloured card. Okay? So draw the picture on plain paper or lined paper, whichever you have, and label it with the colours that you're going to use, and perhaps write your message as well. So I would advise drawing a square, much like this, with the frame on it, and writing the lettering and labelling. So I'd recommend you do that for your design. So pause the video here and give yourself a good amount of time to design your light box. Think about the brief. That will also be on the home learning as well, but go back in this video if you need to think about the brief again. Okay, so step one, you need to choose your box. So I chose a box that had a removable back that I could easily slot back in, so my light source would stay in place. It doesn't matter if your box doesn't have a back or if you get rid of it, because you can just put it up against a wall so no one sees the back. So once you've chosen your box, you need to measure out the frame. So measure out the outline of your box that is going to frame your message. So I decided I wanted mine to be quite thick, so I thought 3 centimetres would be the perfect thickness for a frame. So 3 centimetres all the way around is what I decided. So on the edge of my box, I measured 3 centimetres. I then did the same the other side, and then I drew a line connecting those 2 sort of notches that I had made. And then I did that all the way around. So all of these rectangles, they are 3 centimetres thick, okay? And then this middle part is the bit that you would need to cut out, because we don't need this bit, because this is where our message is going to sit. Step 2, I would get an adult or someone who's slightly older than you to help you with this, because it can be a bit tricky and you are going to need to use some scissors. So cut out the middle of your box, well, your frame. What I did is I didn't go straight onto the line, because I knew that it might be a little bit tricky and I might make a mess of it. So I cut close to the line and then I went around again to get a neater finish. So you may want to do the same. Once I'd finished that part, I was on to step 3. I needed to cut out black card to frame my light box. So I was left with this big hole here, and I was still left with the pictures on the shoebox, so I wanted to cover those up with some black card. The material I used was slightly different, but black card will be a lot easier for you to cut, so I'm sure it will be fine and you'll get neater edges than this. Because my original thickness of the frame was 3 centimetres, I thought it was better to make the frame that I was creating to put on top 4 centimetres, just to make sure you couldn't see any of the shoebox that was originally there, because I wanted it to look professional and I didn't want anyone to see what was there before. So I did the same that I did with the box. I measured out 4 centimetres and then 4 centimetres on the other side, joined the lines up, and I cut it out. You can also place the card on top of your box if it's easier. Then what I did, because I was a little bit cheeky, but you can do the same if you like, I know that this side is going to be exactly the same length as this side up here. So I simply put the one that I'd already cut out on top of my card, and I cut it again. And then I was left with 2 sides. So then I only needed to do my other 2 sides, which I use exactly the same method. I just followed this method again. And then once I was finished cutting out my card, I stuck it onto my box. Okay, make sure that you're sticking the right side onto the right part of your box, because otherwise they might not measure up. I then put glasses on top because it needed to be weighted down, because it wasn't quite sticking properly. You might find you need to do the same. Then step 4, you need to measure and cut out your greaseproof paper. So hold the greaseproof greaseproof paper up and then cut it to the size of your square frame. What I did was I pushed it in as well, just to check that it was the right size. It was a little bit bigger, but again, doesn't matter because no one's going to see that part. The important bit is what is on the other side. If you want to help yourself, when you come to stick your lettering on, I would advise maybe using pen to just note where the corners are, so you're not sticking any of your letters outside of that, because otherwise people will not see them. This will come to make sense when you go on to that step as well. And then step 5, this was the fun bit because I got to create my message. So I wrote my message on card. I did it in capitals because I thought that would be easier to cut out. I cut it out and I also made some stars as well. So I decided that I would include those in my message. So I cut them out. But when you're sticking it on, you need to remember that your message needs to be glued to the side facing outwards. So make sure that your lettering can be felt from the outside of the shoebox, because otherwise if you glue it on the inside, when the light shines through, you'll just be able to see the big blobs of glue, and we definitely don't want that. Okay, so once you've stuck your message on and you're waiting for that to dry, measure out black card to go out around the outside of the box, just so again you can't see what was on the box previously. So I put my box on top of the card and I drew around it and then cut it out, because I just felt like that was a lot easier than me measuring the box and then writing that out on the card. Glue each side and weigh it down again. I would recommend gluing one side at a time, putting some heavy books on it so that it can dry nice and securely when you go to next pick it up. Once your sides are all dry and your box is looking professional, you now need, and also once your message is dry, make sure your message is dry before you do this, because I forgot to do this and a letter fell off. So once the sides are dry, carefully glue the greaseproof paper behind the frame, making sure the sides are secure. So can you see here how the lettering is facing outwards? It's not facing the light source. That's how yours needs to be as well, because look, you can see the glue here. And if it was the other way around, you would be able to see the glue. So make sure that your letters are facing outwards. So just glue all around the outside like I did here. Again, doesn't matter if you've got spare bits and bobs, because no one is going to be able to see those. And we're almost done, but now you need to attach your light source. So I was very lucky with my camping light. It had a really useful handle, and my box also had a useful handle used to help people carry it. So what I did was I bent the handle that they used and I hung my light upon it. If you can't do that, don't worry. What you might be able to do instead, if you have a torch, is just sit it on some books so that it's resting and it's shining in the middle of the frame. And then once you've done that and you've hung your light source, everything is stuck securely together. If you've got a back, close it up. If not, you can pop it against a wall. Turn all the lights off in your room. Make sure that the light source in your box is on, but turn all the lights off in your room and enjoy your sign. So I put mine here in my hallway, and I still had the light from the living room, but it was still really bright. So I can't wait to see what it looks like when it actually starts to get darker later today. And that will be your light box complete. I hope you have the best time making them. I certainly did, and I was really pleased with the results, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. So don't go buying sort of things outside the house. See what you can find in and around first, just like I did. I didn't go and spend any money. It was things that I had available for me to use. So I hope you have lots of fun making your light boxes. Remember, you need to think of some welcoming messages to make the guests feel at home on their holiday. And me and Miss Long will wait to hear from you. Good luck, enjoy, bye.